However, there are few people in the world who are in genuine earnest. Most cannot put forth intensive effort or endure long perseverance, also they do not seek out the fundamental true principles, but just think of the mysterious past and mysterious female in terms of physical locations and do some minor techniques which are attached either to voidness or to form, falsely imagining that they will attain the Tao thereby. This is pitiful. The Inner Teachings of Taoism, by Liu Yiming, 18th c. Taoist Master. The I Ching hexagram return consists of 1 yang, arising under 5 yins. Yin is quietude, yang is movement. When quietude reaches its consummation, it gives rise to movement. It is this point of movement that is the mysterious pass. Li Dao Chun, 13th c. Taoist Master, the Book of Balance and Harmony. This point of movement is the beginning of the way, the Tao, and is also called the narrow gate, while the way is also called the mysterious pass. The narrow gate or the mysterious pass. Enter in at the strait gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way, that leadeth to destruction, and many there be who go there, because strait is the gate, and narrow is the way, which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. The Bible, Matthew 7:14. The narrow gate and the mysterious pass, Japanese Shinto Tori. The way consists of 6 steps. Growing from 1 yang to gradually reach the pure wholeness of 6 yangs, going from vague to clear, the gold elixir develops naturally. Liu Yiming, He Inner Teachings of Taoism. The process of refining the yin lower self completely, and becoming pure yang is described in terms of the I Ching hexagrams. The 6 light rays represent 6 yangs, 6 steps to bring back the presence of the higher self, which is also called the mind of Tao. This is what Jesus was referring to, when he said, "See, I myself shall lead her so as to make her male, so that she herself will become a living spirit, pi nu epsilon upsilon mu alpha, who is like you males." For every woman who will make herself male will enter the kingdom of heaven. On the left, the hexagram return with 1 yang and 5 yins, on the right the hexagram heaven with 6 yangs. Gaining control over the lower self, through the gradual awakening of the higher self, is presented as a process of 6 stages by all esoteric traditions. The point where 1 yang begins to move is when the yang light of real knowing of the mind of Tao stirs but is not yet very active, only then is a glimpse of the root of heaven revealed. At this time you should quickly set about increasing the fire, gathering yang and putting it into the furnace of evolution, gradually gathering, gradually refining, from vagueness to clarity, from 1 yang to complete purity of 6 yangs. Liu Yiming, Commentary on Understanding Reality by Zhang Baduan. Growing from 1 yang to gradually reach the pure wholeness of 6 yangs, going from vague to clear, the gold elixir develops naturally. Liu Yiming, The Inner Teachings of Taoism. This is the wonderful charm that is spoken of. In the left ukiyo-e below, the mind, educated with the tools to reach the state of presence, which is also called the steward, is struggling with lower self. In the right image, the snake, representing the lower self, is trying to distract Adam and Eve, the educated mind and heart, from focusing on the immortal state of divine presence. The way of giving life to humans uses the ordinary father and mother to give birth to the phantasmic body. The way of giving life to immortals uses the spiritual father and mother to give birth to the real body. Liu Yiming, Commentary on Understanding Reality by Zhang Baduan. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. The Bible, Revelation 22:13. All love is connected with presence, Goethe, 18th c. German poet and writer, Maxims and Reflections. Bright but hidden, the self dwells in the heart. It is the source of love, and may be known through love, but not through thought. Upanishads, Hindu text. When Sufi poetry mentions separation from, or union with, the beloved, the Sufi understands it to mean separation from or union with God. Al-Ghazali, 11th c. Persian Sufi mystic. Presence is the one we call the beloved. Rumi, 13th c. Sufi mystic and poet. The job of the steward is to wake up the higher self within one. In the fairy tale Sleeping Beauty, the prince symbolizing the steward, is trying to wake up sleeping beauty, the higher self. To do this, the mind or steward must connect to the desire to be present, the heart. If the mind has relations with other parts of the lower centers, it is called adultery and sleeping beauty stays asleep. In Sufi literature, the steward is called the lover, and the state of presence, or, also symbolized by the Shinto goddess Amaterasu, is called the beloved. The rope symbolizes remembrance of God, which means the God inside oneself, one's higher self, through the effort of being present. Separation of God is like a well, remembrance of Him is the rope. Shams, 13th c. Persian Muslim. Struggling against one's own internal weaknesses, or trying to accept the unpleasant manifestation of others creates friction. If one doesn't listen to the host of thoughts and emotions screaming inside, but instead keeps focusing on the present moment, one can experience a transformation in which these thoughts and emotions are burnt away, and instead, one feels a peace inside, accompanied by a miraculous sense of self-awareness. I know myself now, and I feel within me a peace above all earthly dignities. Shakespeare, Henry VIII. When the mind is silent, then it can enter into a world which is far beyond the mind. Upanishads, Hindu text. The secret within the secret cannot be dispensed with from start to finish. This is the washing of the heart and the purification of the thoughts, which is bathing. The secret of the golden flower, Taoist text. The most excellent of those who perform good deeds are those who most often remember God in all situations. Ibn Attallah, 12th c. Egyptian Sufi. Divine or good deeds are deeds that bring us back to the state of presence, and we must stand on the floating bridge of heaven to return to the state. The Hashikagari symbolizes a prolonged effort to reach divine presence, which follows the arousal of the heart in the mirror room. Through this effort the spirit, prolonged presence, comes down from heaven. The mind is like a clear mirror. At all times we must strive to polish it, and must not let the dust collect. Huineng. In order to be able to speak of any kind of future life, there must be a certain crystallization, a certain fusion of man's inner qualities, a certain independence of external influences. If there is anything in a man able to resist external influences, then this very thing itself may also be able to resist the death of the physical body. Gurdjieff, 20th c. Fourth way spiritual teacher. The whole of the body, all the tissues, all the cells, would become saturated with these fine hydrogens, which would gradually settle in them, crystallizing in a special way. This crystallization of the fine hydrogens would gradually bring the whole organism onto a higher level, onto a higher plane of being. Gurdjieff. The term hydrogens refers to different energies in man and in the universe, ranging from coarse to fine. The meaning of the Chinese concept of qi is very close to the concept of hydrogens. The beloved is a symbol the Sufis often use for the state of presence. In order to reach the state of presence, one needs to have the same desire for this state, as the lover's desire to be together with his beloved. Rumi is saying that one reaches presence by stamping under the feet everything that is not presence. Having thoughts about the past or future, judging someone for doing something one thinks is strange or wrong, being in a state of fascination while watching TV or a movie, or thinking one is better than somebody else, are examples of things that are not compatible with being present. Being present is the simple state of being aware of oneself in one's environment. Jesus told us to form a circle and hold each other's hands, and He Himself stood in the middle, and said, "Respond to me with Amen." The Gnostic Gospels, the Acts of John. Liu Yiming. Reality is so subtle that the ancient immortals called this reality a tiny pearl. Yet though they called it a tiny pearl, in reality it has no such shape. They call it thus because there is a point of conscious energy hidden in the center, and because that point of awareness contains the whole cosmos, space, and the universe. The higher self, shining the light of awareness into the present moment, has an inner meaning referring to making the effort to awaken one's higher self. Amaterasu symbolizes the light of presence. When this is lost, the demons, the thoughts and emotions going round in our head, are controlling our life in the state of sleep or darkness. The other gods used everything in their power to lure her out, but to no avail. Finally it was Uzum who succeeded. The laughter of the gods when they watched her comical and erotic dance, aroused Amaterasu's curiosity. When she emerged from her cave, she saw her own brilliant reflection in a mirror that Ozum had hung in a nearby tree. Ozum and the mirror both symbolize a pure heart that desires to be present. The mirror or the heart has no dust, the 10,000 eyes, so it can reflect the image of God, presence. Alice, how long is forever? White Rabbit, sometimes, just 1 second, Lewis Carroll, Alice in Wonderland. If you practice for a single breath, then you are a realized immortal for a breath. The Secret of the Golden Flower, Taoist text. When the higher self awakens into the present, it sees the lower self as an interesting stranger. The lower self needs to become passive and certain aspects of it need to die, to enable the higher self to come into being. However, the lower self doesn't want to give up its territory and so will do anything to prevent the state of presence to occur. The lower self tries to protect its realm from pain by covering it with many veils of unconsciousness, imagination and desires. Ibn Arabi, 13th c. Andalusian Sufi mystic and philosopher. The state of presence is also called grace. The state of presence is also called light. The presence of grace does not depend on man's will. Grace comes and goes according to the will of God. Elder Sophrony, Philokalia. The energy of grace is the power of spiritual fire that fills the heart with joy and gladness, stabilizes, warms and purifies the soul, temporarily stills our provocative thoughts, and for a time suspends the body's impulsions. Gregory of Sinai, Philokalia. Grace begins to operate in people during prayer in different ways. Finally, God produces a gentle and serene flow of light. Gregory of Sinai, Philokalia. An ancient said, when people are in the midst of the disturbance, this is a good time to apply effort to keep independent. Stay comprehensively alert in the immediate present, and suddenly an awakening will open up an experience in the midst of it all that is millions of times better than that of quiet sitting. Huang Yuan Qi, Annals of the Hall of Blissful Development. Controlling the human mind by the mind of Tao does not happen spontaneously, but requires action, Yue. It requires reversal or going against the natural flow. The first bowl moistens my lips and throat, the second bowl banishes all loneliness, the third expelled the dullness from my mind, inducing inspirations born from all the books I've read. At the fourth cup, I begin to perspire. Life's troubles evaporate through my pores. The fifth cup cleanses my entire being. 6 cups and I am in the realm of the divine. 7 cups, but I can drink no more, I can only feel the gentle breeze blowing through my sleeves, wafting me away to the Isle of Immortality. Lu Tong, 8th c. Taoist poet. Everyone in the world knows the path of going along, but not he path of reverse operation. What is going along? It means going along with the natural process. What is reversal? It means reversal of the natural process. Going along with the natural process gives birth to humans and other beings, the cycle of birth, aging, sickness, and death never ceasing. Reversing the natural process produces enlightened adepts who are neither born nor perish, having a lifespan equal to that of the universe. Lu Yiming, The Inner Teachings of Taoism. To unveil the original spirit, to reach a state of divine presence, one must take action and use a method. If one doesn't take action, one will stay as one is. Reaching the state of divine presence is called non-action. The great Tao is natural and spontaneous, without artifice. Why is it necessary to use a method of deliberate action? The reason it is indeed necessary to use the method is to get rid of degeneracy. When all degenerations are effectively done away with, then the method is not needed, just as a raft needed to cross a river is to be left behind once the river is crossed, and a net needed to catch fish is to be put away once the fish has been caught. Lu Yiming, 18th c. Taoist master, Awakening the Tao. All esoteric traditions distinguish these 3 worlds in man. They are also referred to as underworld, earth, and heaven. The underworld represents the state where the original spirit is veiled, while earth represents the effort to unveil the original spirit, which is also called true intent in Taoism. The yellow wife is the earth mother and represents true intent and true faith in our being. Lu Yiming, 18c. Taoist Master. The character for true intent is made up of heart at the bottom, and sound or tone on top. It refers to an impulse in the heart to turn around the light. When one is in the midst of one's worldly affairs and one's human mind or discriminating spirit is active, one suddenly becomes aware that one is asleep, and then one starts self-awareness, one returns to the mind of Tao in order to bring back the original spirit. The true intent is also called the Yellow Woman. The Yellow Woman, wife, is the Earth Mother in the center, called Yellow Woman because it can harmonize yin and yang and can combine the four forms. The alchemical treatises use this to symbolize the true faith within the true intent in people, which can harmonize essence and sense, and nurture vitality and energy. True intent and true faith are the Yellow Woman in our being. Li Yiming, 18c. Taoist Master. The symbol of the Earth Mother or Mother Goddess can be found in all esoteric traditions. She is the one who shows this world, for what it is. She is the Genetrix, the mother of the Buddhas. Prajnaparamita Sutra, Buddhist text. If the mind moves means it gives rise to thoughts, fantasies and emotions. Only when the mind is still can the light appear. If you can just keep the mind still so that errant thought does not arise, the reality of nirvana will naturally appear. Hongren. When the mind is silent, then it can enter into a world which is far beyond the mind. Upanishads, Hindu text. Vitality water, the true, one prenatal energy is also called metal in water, true lead or the mind of Tao. The vitality in the body is yang within yin. This is likened to the center line of heaven entering earth to make water. Yin outside, yang inside, there is the metal of heaven in water, so it is called metal in water. This stands for sense and vitality. Li Dao Chun, the Book of Balance and Harmony. The true lead is the primordial root of consciousness, it is also called the root of heaven, or the true unified vitality, or the true unified energy, or lead from the homeland of water, or metal within water, or white within black, or the yang soul within the yin soul, or the black tiger, or the metal man, or the method of immortality of that house. The ancients represented it symbolically in many ways, but when we get back to the important point, they are all just depicting the mind of Tao. Lu Yiming, Commentary on Understanding Reality. True lead is also called the root of heaven or white within black. The heart is the vital center. It occupies the place of ruler. It is the sacred vessel. Yellow Emperor's Inner Canon, Chapter 8. Guan Yin's face is a symbol for the heart. The heart is also represented as the Yellow Woman and the true intent, which controls vitality. True intent is the director of the myriad affairs, it controls vitality and spirit, sustains essence and life, occupies and guards the center of the being. Lu Yiming, The Inner Teachings of Taoism. Spirit fire refers to the illumination of the original spirit. Spirit is yin within yang, represented as fire and as the sun. Lu Yiming, The Inner Teachings of Taoism. Illumination is the energy of open awareness in the palace of fire, the heart, it is the spirit of humans, the master of mind. When the mind is open it is aware, the original spirit is in charge of affairs, and illumination is managed properly. One can thereby balance yang. When the mind is unruly, it wanders, the discriminatory consciousness handles affairs, and illumination is not properly directed. This is sufficient to damage yang. Therefore fire is beneficial to correctness and development. Lu Yiming, The Taoist I Ching, Hexagram number 30 Fire. Heart-shaped vase with a flame of spirit fire, 12th c. AD, mosaic in Basilica of Saint Clemente, Rome. The heart is the vital center. It occupies the place of ruler. It is the sacred vessel. Yellow Emperor's Inner Canon, Chapter 8. The vase is a symbol for the heart. The heart is also represented as the Yellow Woman and the true intent, which controls the spirit. True intent is the director of the myriad affairs, it controls vitality and spirit, sustains essence and life, occupies and guards the center of the being. Lu Yiming, The Inner Teachings of Taoism. Intent earth is the heavenly heart of the middle, refers to the true intent of the heart, also called the yellow wife. The true earth is not material earth, It is the true intent of the human body, which has no location. True intent is the director of the myriad affairs, it controls vitality and spirit, sustains essence and life, occupies and guards the center of the being. Lu Yiming, the inner teachings of Taoism. The yellow woman, wife, is the earth mother in the center, called yellow woman because it can harmonize yin and yang and can combine the four forms. The alchemical treatises use this to symbolize the true faith within the true intent in people, which can harmonize essence and sense, and nurture vitality and energy. True intent and true faith are the yellow woman in our being. Li Yiming, the inner teachings of Taoism. The character for intent is made up of heart at the bottom, and sound or tone on top. The true intent refers to an impulse in the heavenly heart to turn around the light. When one is in the midst of one's worldly affairs and one's human mind or conscious spirit is active, one suddenly becomes aware that one is asleep, and then one starts self-awareness. This is the return of the mind of Tao. This is also called the yellow woman. If learners can actually control their stubborn mind and return it to rectitude, transform their errant intent and restore it to sincerity, then half of the Tao of essence and life can be comprehended. Lu Yiming, awakening the Tao. The symbol of the Earth Mother or Mother Goddess can be found in all esoteric traditions. Nairatmya, the mother of all Buddhas. Lady of Emptiness or she who has realized selflessness, is a female Buddha. Nairatmya's body is blue, the color of infinite space, reflecting the limitless expanse of her awareness. Like the element of space, she flows through the universe without impediment, for she has transcended ego-centered existence. Her eyes blaze with the wisdom of one who understands the mysteries and depths of life. She raises her Kartika skyward, poised to sever negative mind states wherever they arise. In her cupola, she pulverizes illusions and returns them to their original state, a mere play of light, a rainbow of energy, shimmering in empty space. She is enlightened spontaneity in female form, and supremely blissful divine yogini. She is the mansion of enlightened awareness. Possessor of the 5 Buddha wisdoms, she is pure, universal awareness. The sovereign of the mandala. She is Nairatmya Yogini. The essence of ultimate reality. From Havajra Tantra, the impulse of their heart is an interpretation of the character in this context. This character is made up of the characters for heart below, and sound above. It has a special meaning in Taoism and is translated as true intent. It refers to a sound, a tone or an impulse in the heart from which a thought comes into being. It is called true intent if this impulse is related to the original spirit and causes the original spirit to awaken. Then one knows one is not this 7-foot-tall physical body, it is only one's temporary dwelling. However, in normal people this impulse is related to things of the world and creates the sense that I am this body. This is called errant intent. When the original spirit is awake, the generations of thoughts do continue, but now one's identity is no longer in them. One is separate from them and they no longer control one. This is the light, of the golden flower, shining upon them. When a man is in control of his passions, then his light goes forth and is continued through many generations. Kabbalah? Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee, I will make thee a joy of many generations. The Bible, Isaiah 61. We now have to combat the enemy of thoughts, in order for the good thoughts to destroy the bad ones. The real war, the important battle, is this war. Rumi, 13th c. Sufi mystic and poet. If you want to attain the way by shutting the door and sitting quietly with a blank mind, that is like shutting the doors and shutters and hoping to see the sun. What way does that accomplish? It must be the way of dark rooms, I guess. Only when you mix with the ordinary people, integrating illumination, living in the cities and towns, are you activating great use of great potential. This is the real function of practicing and holding the great way. Lu Yiming, 1734-1821, Taoist master, awakening the Tao. Sages use the word middle to point out the opening of the mysterious pass. The opening of the mysterious pass is the most abstruse and most essential mechanism. It is not in the forehead, or the navel, or in the bladder, or in the genitals, or between the kidneys and navel, or between the kidneys and genitals. From head to heels, any spot of the body you may focus on is not it. Yet it is not to be sought externally, apart from the body. Li Dao Chun, 13th C. Taoist Master, The Book of Balance and Harmony. The term yellow middle, or yellow castle, refers to the heart as the central organ and ruler over thoughts and emotions. The heart is not a piece of flesh, the place where one is aware, is the heart. Wang Yongming, 16th C. Chinese philosopher. It is also called the Yellow Court, the Middle Palace, the Yellow Woman or Wife. What is the Yellow Woman? Yellow is the color associated with the sinner, woman refers to mother. Myriad beings are born from earth, so earth is the mother of myriad beings, and thus is called the Yellow Woman. It refers to the true will, which stands in the center of mind and body, heaven and earth, and joins them in harmonious union. Li Dao Chun, The Book of Balance and Harmony. The Yellow Woman stands for the true will to awaken the original spirit. The symbol of the Earth Mother or Mother Goddess can be found in all esoteric traditions. The Yellow Woman harmonizes. When true intent does not scatter, yin and yang naturally harmonize. You should know that the true intent is the Yellow Woman, Lu Yiming, the inner teachings of Taoism. God and Christ have the same face. God represents the original spirit and Christ represents the part in a man that tries to awaken the original spirit. The Louvre, 1450. The character for, Dao, Wei, is pregnant with hidden meaning. First two dots are written. The left one symbolizes light, the right one symbolizes darkness, as in the symbol of the Absolute wherein yin and yang embrace each other. These two dots represent the sun and the moon in the sky, water and fire on earth, and the two eyes in human beings, which reverse light and gaze inwardly in the course of refinement exercises. Grand Master Zhang Hadao, 16th generation transmitter of the Dragon Gate sect, opening the Dragon Gate, the making of Taoist wizard. The celestial mechanism is transmitted once in 10,000 eons. The immortals and real people of antiquity were unwilling to make it explicit, but our author is so kind and compassionate that in 16 poems he reveals what the ancients did not reveal. Lu Yiming, Commentary on Understanding Reality by Zhang Baduan. But this celestial mechanism of practicing reversal has a secret which is communicated verbally and instructs the heart. One must seek the guidance of the true teacher, for it cannot be known through arbitrary guesswork. Lu Yiming, 18th C. Taoist Master, The Inner Teachings of Taoism. The subtle function of spiritual work is truly hard to measure. I now give an explanation for you. In telling you about it, I divulge the celestial mechanism. Setting to work when one yang comes back. First have the 6 yangs pump the furnace bellows. Then the 6 yins work the tongs and hammer. When the work of firing is complete, it produces the sword. Without this sword, the Tao cannot be achieved. Li Dao Chun, The Book of Balance and Harmony. You are what your deep driving desire is. As your desire is, so is your will. As your will is, so is your deed. As your deed is, so is your destiny. The Upanishads, the world of yin refers to the illusory world created by the human mind. It can also be called the world of the lower self and is characterized by the state of imagination, uncontrolled mind activity, illusionary suffering, undue preoccupation with trifling matters and mechanical habits. This illusory world obstructs the mind of Tao. The firmness of the Tao belongs to Yang, this is the great. The flexibility of the human mind belongs to Yin, this is the small. If the human mind lacks the mind of Tao, it can defeat the Tao by using consciousness to produce illusion. If you govern it by the mind of Tao, the conscious light is clear and can thereby help the Tao. Lu Yiming, 18th C. Taoist Master, Commentary on Understanding Reality. Being intoxicated is a metaphor for the presence of the original spirit. Drink of the wine that prolongs the soul. Rumi, 13th C. Sufi mystic and poet. The sun is wine and the moon the cup. Pour the sun into the moon. Hafiz, 14th C. Persian Sufi poet. The sun represents the presence of the original spirit. The moon represents the firing process, a prolonged effort to bring back the original spirit. The word that comes of grace is like a cup which runneth over. Gregory of Sinai, Philokalia, Greek Orthodox Christian text. The valley spirit is the unique energy of primordial nothingness. This is what is called the spiritual embryo. This energy is not matter or emptiness, yet is both material and empty at the same time. Confucians call it the great ultimate, or ultimate good, or ultimate truth. Buddhists call it complete awareness, or the body of reality, or the relic of Buddha. Taoists call it the gold elixir, or the spiritual embryo, or the valley spirit. Liu Yiming, 18c. Taoist master. The valley spirit, undying, is called the mystic female. Tao Te Ching, Chapter 6. The valley spirit represents the presence of the original spirit or higher self. When the higher self is present, although it is still connected to the lower self and in the body, it is psychologically speaking separate from the lower self. When this state deepens, there is a distance between itself and the lower self, and the lower self is no longer experienced as I. What is now experienced as I, is that which observes the lower self. What the lower self experiences is perceived by the higher self, as the echo of voices in the valley. Therefore the text says that one definitely hears it and yet it is not oneself that hears it. It is the lower self that hears it, and one observes it from distance. Whether in the East or West, people who have created an immortal spiritual body and are thus able to continue to exist consciously after their mortal body has died, help people who have the same aim to awaken their original spirit and create an immortal astral body. This is the inner meaning of a guardian angel, which is not as common as people think. The heart has a wonderful charm. The hidden and wonderful spell gives eternal life. Journey to the West. When midnight is alive, it means the mind of Tao or the golden flower has returned. The quality of strength is primordial real yang, the original true energy. When this primal energy appears, this is what is called the living midnight in our bodies. This the door of life and death. Liu Yiming, 18c. Taoist master, Taoist I Ching. At the start of human life, the original essence of real consciousness is round and bright and lucid, firm strength is balanced, and it is unadulterated, pure, without a trace of pollution. This is like the three whole lines of the trigram heaven, the image of pure yang without yin. Subsequently, upon mixture with acquired conditioning, natural goodness is obscured, and there is artificiality in conscious energy. This is like the center of the heaven trigram becoming hollowed, forming fire, the center of the earth becoming solid, forming water. The hollow in the center means the real has left fire, the solid in the center means the real has fallen into water, taking from water to fill in fire means restoring natural reality, recovering the original nature of real consciousness. This is likened to the fire trigram again changing into the heaven trigram. Liu Yiming, Commentary on Understanding Reality. If you take the bit of celestial water of true unity from the water of desire on the earthly plane and use it to extinguish the raging fire of temper in the heart, and take the real fire of open awareness out of the temperamental fire in the heart and use it to burn away greed on the earthly plane, thus the true earthly and the true celestial will combine harmoniously, real water and real fire will not be separated, and from not being settled one can arrive at settlement. This will restore the original being, in which the celestial is strong and the earthly obeys it, endowed with innate knowledge and innate capacity. Liu Yiming, the Taoist I Ching, Mixed Hexagrams number 63 to 63. The two bodies create a square. The square is a symbol for the presence of the original spirit. The Book of the Yellow Court says, in the inch-2 field of the square-foot house, life can be regulated. The square-foot house is the face. As for the field of an inch-2 on the face, what can it be other than the heavenly heart? In the middle of the inch-2 dwells the splendor. In the purple hall of the city of jade dwells the God of utmost emptiness and life. The Secret of the Golden Flower, Chapter 1. To go back to the root and return to the origin requires knowledge of the uniform flavored great medicine of true lead. When you know the true lead, you know the one, and myriad tasks are finished, everything else is easy. The true lead is nothing else but the real awareness of the mind of Tao. Real awareness is also called the true seed. If you do not know the true seed, there is no basis for practicing the Tao, and what